Hello there. Brexiteer Tory MP Boris Johnson says we should not put the EU in the position of still bossing us about after we've left. Chuck Chequers, he says. Writing in the Spectator, Boris Johnson, one-time Foreign Secretary, says how would you feel if you left a company to work elsewhere only to find that your old boss was still ordering you about? As he points out, you can't leave an organisation and still be bound by its rules, but that is exactly what the Chequers-based deal actually amounts to. It is of course a total nonsense that one of the world's largest economies should be locked in by someone else's rules. Boris is absolutely right. Let's just chuck Chequers. And the Tory grassroots members are right behind this sentiment, as it emerges that there is deep anger against Theresa May for what they see as a sellout to the European Union. Many, it seems, are tearing up their membership cards and joining the UK Independence Party. And UKIP has issued news today saying that the party is still moving up in the polls, and as the Tories drop behind Labour, UKIP is hoovering up the support. These are testing times for the Tories, who are now 5 points behind Labour in the latest YouGov poll. That's what they get for betraying the 17.4 million British people who voted for Brexit, said the UKIP statement. And another piece in The Spectator by Matthew Goodwin says that UKIP may be on the verge of a comeback, all down to Chequers. And he points out that although a current poll rating of about 8% may not sound much, it could cause the Tories problems in the more marginal seats at a general election. Funny situation in that Theresa May is actually protected by her own loss of seats in the 2017 general election, because none of the other big hitters dare rock the boat by challenging her. Now, the new Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab is full of fine words in the Daily Mail saying, "Let's get on with it." Well, basically what he seems to be saying is that it's been 2 long years since the referendum and the people want the government to get on with taking back control of borders, laws and cash. "We are well on the way to delivering exactly that," he writes. Well, at least he's proved he's got a sense of humour. But according to Asa Bennett in The Telegraph, he is the Brexit Secretary in name only. Does that make him Brexec-eno? Well, whatever. He now seems to be running the department for exiting the EU as a mere sub-department of the Cabinet Office Europe unit run by Ollie Robbins. And Theresa May said that the Europe unit will be running the negotiations and that Dominic might be able to deputise for the PM in the negotiations. So for those who remember the old parlour game of Simon Says, well, there's a new game in town for the EU negotiations, and that is Ollie Says. And if, when talking to the EU negotiator Michel Barnier, Mr Raab omits the phrase Ollie says, then that part can be safely ignored by the EU. Does that make Mr Raab the Brexit Secretary in name only, a Brexec-eno, if you will? Or does his deputising role make him a partially responsible at times minister? I'll leave you to work out the acronym for that one. Now, the French Europe Minister Nathalie Loiseau told the Today programme that if the UK changed its mind and decided to stay in the EU after all, the EU would agree to it. "We have always said, always, that the door would remain open and that we were not the ones who wanted to diverge from the United Kingdom. It was the British people who decided to leave the European Union," she said. Further, when asked if the UK could stay in on exactly the same terms, she said, "Sure, of course." She also warned that Michel Barnier talks for the European Union as a whole, and that efforts by the UK government to negotiate separately with member states would not result in any better a deal. Well, WTO would be a better deal than either Chequers or remaining, so bring it on. But Sophie Walker, the leader of the Women's Equality Party, puts the blame for Brexit squarely on, you've guessed it, overconfident men. As Parliament heads for recess, I've never been more struck by the impact of overconfident men trading bluster for knowledge and honesty, she writes. What a load of guff. How about all those women on the Leave side like Kate Hoey and Suella Braverman, for example? Are they full of bluster too? Or is it that because they are female they are exempt from name-calling? Can you imagine the outcry if someone had written a piece along the lines of the Remain campaign being led by female Remoaners who are too timid to grasp the real opportunities of Brexit? There would be wall-to-wall demands for the return of the death penalty to deal with such a heinous criminal statement. And if you think I'm referring to Theresa May here, then of course I cannot comment. So, please let us all know what you think by leaving a comment below. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video. And also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.